Welcome back. You're still tuned in to News and Views. And right now, we're going to be turning our attention to Pakistan's volatile southwest region, where there's been a wave of coordinated attacks in Balochistan, which have essentially shaken Pakistan's assurances to its biggest strategic partners, China and the United States. In the past week, separatist militants launched strikes across the province that killed dozens of civilians and security personnel, essentially prompting a severe military response from the government. These assaults come at a very, very sensitive moment. Pakistan has been trying to reassure China that its flagship China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which is a cornerstone of Chinese investment, remains secure even as it seeks fresh backing from the United States. But analysts warn that deep-rooted grievances in Balochistan, including perceptions of exploitation and exclusion from economic gains, are fueling the insurgency and raising tough questions about the future of Pakistan's promise on security and economic commitments. And we're going to be unpacking the significance of these attacks with Professor and Dean of CESD Institute of Business Management, Professor Shahida Wizarat, and she's joining us via telephone. Prof, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to News and Views. Really appreciate you giving us your time. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning, and thank you very much for having me in the program.
No, the pleasure's all ours, and I think we'll jump right into it. I want us to start with the basics. Just how significant are these recent attacks in Balochistan, just in the broader history of violence in the province and the ultimate consequences that they will have on the rest of Pakistan?
Actually, if you look at the world map today, I mean, there are serious problems going on in all the areas, in all the countries which are rich in natural resources. And so it's the same for Pakistan, particularly Balochistan and, KPK and all the other areas which are rich in natural resources. We find that there are lots of, there is a lot of terrorist activity going on in these areas. And I think that what Pakistan really needs to do is because I work in this area, I work on natural resources, conflict and growth. And we find that there are many reasons why, these natural resources, rich countries are afflicted with terror. And the reason is that, you see, particularly in countries which are digging out their natural resources and they are exporting them in raw form. When you take out your natural resources and export them in raw form, the problem is that the only thing that, the economic activity that is taking place in these areas is the digging of soil. And then these natural resources are taken out to rich countries where there is value addition done. So the major beneficiaries of our natural resources are rich countries. They come and dig out our natural resources and they add value and earn money on them. Whereas a country like Pakistan, we just dig out our natural resources in raw form, and the people living in those areas and the people in Pakistan are not benefiting at all from these natural resources. Whether it is Rikodik, whether it is Kandak, whether it is other areas where the natural resources have just been taken out and sent abroad. And you see, what happens is that the very countries which are beneficiaries of our natural resources, they're also housing all the dissidents. For example, if you look at Balochistan, there are some dissidents. They are living in England. England is a major beneficiary of our natural resources because if you look at there are unconfirmed reports that all this gold will go straight into the Bank of England. And the Bank of England is going to benefit, and also the United States. Now the United States is all over. They're going all over looking for rare earth, and the Pakistani government is taking trays of these natural, rare earths, and they are presenting them to the US government to come and have a look and take out our rare earths also. with the result that on the one hand we are creating a lot of these sense of exclusion of the local population. But the interesting thing is that the very countries that are benefiting from our resources, they are also housing and entertaining the dissidents, and they are benefiting from our natural resources, but they are also nurturing the people who are saying that they are not benefiting from these natural resources. So the very countries that are benefiting, they are also housing our dissidents, and they are entertaining them, providing them hospitality. Like you can say that they are playing on both sides of the wicket. They are cashing our natural resources, and they are also promoting this feeling of exclusion in the local population. So I think what Pakistan needs to do is that we need to stop exporting our natural resources in raw form. Because, you see, if you add value to them, you take out our natural resources, you convert them into manufactured goods, the jobs are going to be created. When jobs are going to be created, then the local population will benefit, they will earn money. And when they start earning money and start getting, getting paid their salaries and wages, then what's going to happen is that this will create demand for housing, it create demand for clothing, shoes, food, with the result that others, it will give rise to these virtuous cycles. And those virtuous cycles will then go on, there will be multiplier effects, and then monies will be generated, incomes will be generated. So this will bring in prosperity. But unfortunately, our government doesn't have, they don't realize all these things. I've been writing on this, I've been giving interviews, I've been trying to tell the government that the best way is to add value to our natural resources and not to export them in raw form. Because otherwise, we are not getting any benefits. We are just creating a lot of sense of exclusion in the local population, and we are not generating incomes. We are just digging them out and sending them abroad. And those countries which are digging out our natural resources are the ones who are really benefiting from our natural resources.
Doc, do you see a risk that under pressure, the Pakistani government might lean a bit more heavily into military solutions rather than political or economic inclusion, as you've been mentioning and stating? And what would that mean for stability in the region, especially looking at how the government has long pitched Balochistan as central, especially to the very, very important China-Pakistan economic corridor? They've portrayed it as a growth engine for the country of some sort. Do you see a more militaristic approach to things to try and quell tensions, to try and show, as you mentioned, international investors like the US, like England, like China, that their businesses are safe, that their minerals that are being mined in the region are still going to be mined and be sent to those countries, as it is the status quo currently?
You see, military solution is becoming necessary because India and many Western countries are arming these dissidents. So they are well armed and they are killing the local population, and they are attacking buses and they are attacking, these railway lines. So we don't know how else can you tackle them. So I think the problem is because India is very, very active, because India and US and UK, all these countries want to get China out of this region. So they are attacking Chinese engineers, they are attacking Pakistanis and all the people especially from Punjab. So that is why the government is forced to take military action. So I think what we need to do is that we need to, that is why the government is coming so hard on them, because India is arming them very extensively, and also there are other Middle Eastern countries are also involved, because United Arab Emirates also feels that, they're doing very well. They have become a trading nation, and they feel that Gwadar port will become a source of, it will take away their business. So there are lots of countries involved, and although Pakistan helped UAE to develop their ports, and we helped them to establish their the Emirate Airlines, etc. But today they have become our rivals, and India is particularly very, very actively arming the dissidents. And I've also heard that there are Western intelligence agencies, particularly, UK, US, and other Western agencies also. Because you see, the problem is that the West has become, the West is really like a beast that has got used to sucking oil. You see, for the last so many years, when we were a British colony, they have been digging out our natural resources. And Britain took out, over a period of about 138 years, Britain took out $45 trillion worth of, they extracted goods and resources worth $45 trillion. And this is a very big amount. And that is even after we've become so-called sovereign. Western countries continue to eye our natural resources as they do with other countries which are rich in natural resources. And in fact, when 9/11 happened, I wrote some articles, and even at that time, I was able to point my finger and I said that, you see, this 9/11 is actually, it's been engineered to take us back to the colonial world order, where Pakistan and other third world countries, they're trying to just dismember us and to take over our natural resources. And this is becoming more and more evident now. I was able to say this 30 years ago, and I said that actually 9/11 is actually action committed to take third world countries back to the colonial world order. And this has become so obvious now. So I think that Pakistan needs to, try to get hold of people who are actually working for foreign powers. We need to punish them, but at the same time, we need to reverse our policies with mineral policies. We need to stop exporting our minerals into in raw form, and we need to establish industries, to convert them into industrial chemicals, to convert them into jewelry and manufactured goods, rather than exporting them in the form where the local people, the local population feels that they are not, their resources are being taken out and they are not benefiting from the resources which are found in their areas.
I think we're going to leave on that note. Prof, thank you so much for joining us. Really, really appreciate you giving us your time and unpacking this very, very important situation unfolding out in Balochistan. Really appreciate it.
Well, you're very welcome. Thank you.
There you go. That was Professor and Dean of CESD Institute of Business Management, Professor Shahida Wizarat, giving us insight on a very, very mineral-rich area or part of Pakistan called the Balochistan, where there have been attacks of some sort, and they've essentially, to a large extent, jeopardized Pakistan's promise to their partners, China, the United States. They've invested quite a lot because, as I mentioned, it's some very, very mineral-rich part of the country. But the residents are not happy. They feel like they've been used as cheap labor. The minerals are not essentially being used to uplift the lives of the people of Balochistan, and they're just mined raw as they are and shipped abroad, and only the elite are benefiting from them. And this has caused large-scale attacks and a militaristic kind of response from the government to try and quell these attacks. So it's going to be a really, really interesting few days, a story that we'll be following quite closely here on Salam Media, and you can follow us for some more updates on it. Otherwise, if you missed this conversation, you can head over to our Spotify channel and listen to the podcast there. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, news and views continues.